Now, you know, every week we have a speaker. I see there's one or two new guys, but the guys that have been here before know that we always have a speaker, okay? My brother spoke last week, because he's been a prison guard at Monroe for 25 years. And he was he was a power lifter, one of the best in the United States for 10 years. And he spoke to him, and then I have a lot of guys that have been in prison, have established their own businesses, and come out and talk to them. But Judge Lash is here to talk to you about his educational experience and what he does in the courthouse. Some of you may have been before him but he wants to talk to you about some different stuff other than what you may have been in front of him before. And Judge, the guys that you've probably seen before,
yeah, but see, they don't recognize me because I'm sitting down. They never realize how tall I am.
They have a robe on.
Right, a robe on too, yeah.
Well,
they stand up, they go, whoa.
This guy right here is smiling because he said, "Oh, Judge Lash is coming." Yeah. But let me tell you, he's changed his behavior, and just from being here like the couple of weeks that he's been here, like 6, he's actually become a good tennis player too. So we're trying to work on that, the behavior, decision-making choices, and trying to work with a path stone down on their rack to get them some skills and work on their educational skills. Wonderful. So it's working. Okay? Wonderful. All right, so let the judge introduce himself and then hold the questions to the end, okay?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I guess, okay, I'll introduce myself. I'm Scott Lash. I'm common pleas judge, which means I'm in the courthouse in the city of Reading, which is a state job. I handle juvenile cases, I handle family cases, I handle civil cases, I have some murder cases. I have a bunch of different assignments that I'm handling. To get to be a judge, you start out, you have to go through 4 years of college, and then 3 years of law school. You have to be a lawyer to be a judge. And then you need to get some experience, because to be a judge, you have to be elected. And to be elected, you have to convince the people who are voting that you're the best one for the job. So you need to have the experience, so you can tell them, you know, what your experience is, so that they vote for you. So I had 18 years of experience as a lawyer. I was in trial lawyer, handling criminal, civil, family cases. And then in '99, I ran for judge, and I was fortunate enough to get elected, and I've been a judge ever since 2000. Started out, so my 16th year, and all those different kind of things. Now, the thing is, I don't know what your guys are thinking about doing for a career, but whatever it is, there's several keys. One is to have passion for what you do. If you love doing it, you love going to work. You don't want to have to drag yourself out of the house every day and say, "Oh, I got to go to work every day." So you want to pick something that you really are into. All right? Don't look at it so much for the money or for any other thing other than this is what I love to do. Another thing is your mindset. The mindset is a key thing. If you want to be a success, you have to just decide you're going to be one. All right? You just have to decide that. The thing is, people, however you think about yourself, that's how you end up being. However you think about yourself. So if you think of yourself as a winner, as a success, that's what you're going to turn out to be. If you think of yourself as someone who's never going to get ahead, who's a loser, who's someone who's always going to fall on hard times, and that's what's going to happen to you. So you have to have it in your mindset. Now let me give you an example. When you wake up you ever hear that Nike thing, just do it? Yeah. When you wake up in the morning and you're in your bed, because kids whenever I ask them what they're going to do, they say, "Well, I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to try to stay off drugs. I'm going to try to this and that." And I say, "Why are you saying you're going to try?" You get up, and when you wake up in the morning and you're laying in your bed, you say to yourself, "I'm going to try to get out of bed." No, you just do it, right? You get out of bed, right? You don't say, "Oh, I hope I can do this," right? You do it. And it's the same for anything. If you decide you want to do it, then you got to just do it. And say, "I'm going to do this." Now, there will be setbacks and failures and so forth, but that's not a bad thing. That's part of the learning process. It's part of the growing process. No one gets it right away. I mean, Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. He was cut. He wasn't even good enough to play with the other high school players. See? And you probably all know the story, he went and became possibly the greatest NBA player of all time, but he quit for a while because he wanted to play baseball. And he never made it to the major leagues, which is, I mean, as great an athlete as he was, he wasn't good enough in that particular sport, but he didn't care about thinking about, I'm going to be a failure. He said, I'm going to try this anyway because I love the sport, I have this passion, and he's just going to do it. And he got pretty high up, AAA. And AAA, I mean, if you're a AAA baseball player, you're really good. You're really good. That's even higher than the Reading Phillies, so you're a good ball player. But for him, you know, the major leagues was what he wanted. And maybe if he had started earlier, he would have been able to do that. But again, he was playing basketball and being the best basketball player in the world. But this is the guy who was cut from his high school team. See? Now you're looking at me, I'm standing here wearing a suit. That's because I have to hold myself out a certain way. But I didn't grow up in a house with lawyers, or my dad was worked in a factory. My mom worked. We were 5 kids in the house. You know, and there were times when we had, you know, financial struggles and so forth and so on. My dad would go on strike, and then he ended up working as a prison guard at Berks County Prison when they laid him off, when they closed the factory down. So for a while he was out of work, then he had a heart attack. So times were tough. But he wanted us to get ahead. He did what he could, and my mom did what she could, and we worked at it. So it wasn't handed to me. See, so I grew up in the city. If you know where Good Street is, New Mineral Spring Road, I lived on that street. Okay, until I was about 10 years old, then we moved from there. So, you know, it wasn't handed to me. I had to earn it. Same thing for any of you. I wasn't the smartest guy in the class. I was the tallest guy in the class, but that didn't help me for being a judge, for being a lawyer. So, you know, it didn't help me that way. But
Play basketball?
I played some basketball, but my sport, see, another thing was, I was a late bloomer, and you know some kids that aren't growing as fast as some others. I mean, some kids, by the time they're in 8th grade, they look like men, and other kids that still look like little kids, right? Well, I was one of those that looked like a little kid. Although I was taller than most kids, I looked like a little kid. So I didn't really become an athlete until college. And at that point, then I'm at Penn State, where that's major college, so I wasn't going to walk on and be a basketball player at Penn State, having, you know, without the background. But I did become involved in sport. It's a minor sport, but it's flying disc, frisbee. And this summer I'm going to the World Championships. I won the U.S. Open.
Are you still playing now?
Still playing now. I'm playing with the seniors.
That's hard.
Sure. Ultimate Frisbee, and you can find it, there's a station, there's professional Ultimate Frisbee. If you look on, you know that station FS? They have soccer games, one of the channels that you get on cable, they have soccer games and different kind of sports. The Phillies are sometimes on there, on the All station, when they're not on Comcast. But they'll show Ultimate Frisbee, which is a 7-man sport. It's a real fast game. The goal, what you have to do is, it's set up like a football field except shorter, but there's goals, like goal lines, and goals like they have in football. And what you do is advance the disc by throwing it to your teammate. You can't run with it. You have to pass it. If it's completed, then you keep moving it down. But if it's incomplete, or knocked to the ground, or out of bounds, or intercepted, it goes the other way. So it's a fast game. So you're back and forth, and then you score a goal. And that's how it's played. And yeah, Philadelphia has a professional team now. Frisbee golf's another thing that happens. I'm like in a track and field kind of thing. I throw distance. I'm a tall guy, so I can throw a long way. Yeah. So yeah, 2012 I won the U.S. Open in California. Throwing distance. I threw 475 feet in that tournament.
On frisbee?
With a frisbee, yeah. So that's like a football field and a half. A little more than that. Yeah, so and hopefully I'm going to do better this year's World Championship, so we'll see how that goes. And then there's a place in Vegas where we try for world records, so I'm going to go out there probably this year and try for that as well. Yeah. So yeah, I love sports, and the thing was, when I was your age, I had an attitude where I didn't know if I was going to succeed because people were telling me I was going to fail. I had a guidance counselor. I said I wanted to be a lawyer. She said, I think you should try something else. Because I stayed in the back. Lawyers are talkers, and I'm talking right now. But back then, I didn't want to say anything. I wanted to sit in the class and say nothing. You know. And she said, I think you should try something else. So I was down on myself, and then all of a sudden I got to college and things were different, and I found out I was really good with the frisbee and won the college national distance championship. And that was what helped me start to think in terms of I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a success. Even though frisbee had nothing to do with education, had nothing to do with law or anything like that.
But doing the frisbee, did that help you?
It made me, it's a self-esteem thing. Yeah, because I was as good as anybody.
Right.
So if I was good as anybody, yeah, it got me out of my shell. I was good as anybody on something, I can be as good as anybody on something else, especially something I have a passion with, like the law. Because the law is where you can really help people. You know, if you understand the law, people get messed up in so many different ways. Sometimes it's things beyond their control, sometimes it's things that they do, sometimes it's things that other people do them. And you come in and a lawyer knows the law and knows how to handle the case properly, they can solve a big problem for that person. A big problem. Make their lives that much better. So it's very worthwhile. It's a very worthwhile career. For me, I love doing that, but I really wanted to be a judge because it's important for me to make sure everything's handled fairly and justly, and that the government doesn't oppress, doesn't like get on people. See, judges are actually the safeguard against government. We have to make sure that the government does their job right. We have to make sure that the police don't search illegally. We have to make sure that people aren't illegally arrested. We're the referees or the umpires. So even though we're part of government, we're a separate branch of government from the governor and the municipalities and so forth. And as a result, we make sure there's a level playing field for the little guy as well as the big guy. Okay? And that's what I really love doing. So, I mean, that's my spiel. You guys have questions? Yeah.
No, I was going to say something.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
We want to hear what you have to say. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Nothing is embarrassing. We're all here together. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll answer your question.
Go ahead.
No,
okay, tell me. Go ahead, tell me. What is it?
No, I'm done. No, I want to say it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, anybody else?
I got a,
Go ahead.
as far as you said earlier, which I think is important, a lot of guys about thinking positive, which I think is really important. I didn't realize that more.
And the thing is, it's even beyond thinking positive, it's a way of life.
Right.
Where, like when you brush your teeth, every morning I brush my teeth, I don't even think about it. It's like, okay, it's time to brush my teeth, right? There's certain things that become a habit. Even when you work out, people who don't stay with their exercises because it's not their habits. They just, okay, I gotta go work out today. Well, maybe I'll skip it, or maybe I'll do a little bit, maybe I'll go halfway. But people who have it as a habit, it's like it has to be. It's part of their life. And the same thing with your thinking. Just like you build your muscles, you build your brain, and your brain just starts to think a certain way, and it becomes second nature then. Michael Jordan, he thought he was going to win every single game. He just decided he was going to win every single game. He didn't win every game, but that's what you know how his mindset was. And there are other athletes like that. Magic Johnson and I'm sorry.
No, you said another basketball player.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, you can name.
You got Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Larry Bird was he was like an
Julius
assassin.
Erving, too.
Dr. J, yeah.
And now you have
Like
LeBron
nowadays,
James,
Durant,
who's like that now.
LeBron.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing: is that if you start thinking positive, if you start thinking positive and only accept an attitude as I'm going to do it, just do it, you'll find that you'll achieve a lot in life. But not only that, you'll start attracting people that are doing the same thing. So the
Yeah.
circle that you're in
Yeah, you
is
draw people
filled.
to you then.
It's filled with a bunch of positivity.
Yeah.
Rather than somebody who comes up to you and says, "Hey, you want to walk with me?" And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 more people come and the cops swoop in.
I'll tell
Okay.
you what, yeah. When you want to meet a woman, or if it's a woman meeting a man, whatever, they're looking for someone who thinks they're about something. They're going to be a success because you carry yourself differently, and you light up the room, as opposed to walking around like being down on yourself, complaining, whining, and so forth. No one wants to be around a whiner or a quitter.
And people see that. They really see how you hold your shoulders up, how you walk with positivity, and then the accomplishments that you're accomplishing. The more you accomplish, the more people, there's people here, we're here to help you because you're in this situation now, but wait till you get out here and you reverse that, and you start doing positive, there'll be more people to help you do and help you with the positive things too.
Yeah.
You know, and you need help with that too.
And
So-
don't look at your own situation and say, well, some other person has more than me. So, like for instance, you use LeBron James. You could say, well, if I were 6'9" and built like LeBron James, I would be in the NBA too, because he's an unbelievable athlete. But then there's Steph Curry, who just hit 77 3-pointers in a row in practice, and he's what, 6'1"? I mean, he's a little guy like Mike here.
And you know who controls the court? The point guard. He controls the court. You know, so look, the smallest guy on the court, he determines who gets the assist, who gets the foul shots, whether it goes down low or stays on the top of the key. So your stature in life doesn't determine where you go. I like this saying, and maybe the judge will agree with me, your attitude in life determines your altitude. It really does. You want to go far, you got to think far.
It's all about your mindset.
And let me tell you, the judge was talking about Michael Jordan. He actually got a gym built in his house because he only weighed like 175 pounds. And here he's going up against these big forwards. He actually put on a lot of muscle, like 20, 25 pounds of muscle, so he could go up against those guys. And he started working on his 30-foot, 20-foot jump shot. He would never miss it, like Steph Curry. And then he combined that with his inside game, and now you see the man that we all experience. But he didn't stop there. Excuse me, Judge. He got done with sports, and he opened up one of the biggest empires that an athlete has. He owns his own sneaker company in combination with Nike. He owns the Charlotte Hornets, and he owns a bunch of other entities. So he took his sports mind and used that to be an entrepreneur to do bigger and better things with his life. So he didn't stop there.
If you want to see some of those classic, if you go on classic ESPN or something and see some of his games, you see how skinny he is. He's skinny. And then you see him playing the Detroit Pistons, who were a very physical team. There had a guy on there named Rick Mahorn, who was built like Charles Barkley, a wide body. And then they had Dennis Rodman, who was a very physical player. And they had all big guys. And the way they would play him was beat him up. They wanted to take him out of his game by tiring him out and even physically beating him up. And if they get him out of the game, that's even better yet. So that was their strategy. They called it the Jordan rules. And if you know, he was about 180 pounds, and these guys outweighed him by 60, 70 pounds, and they were hammering on him, but he refused to give in. He just had that mindset. They were better athletes than him at the time.
So if you want to look at it that way, he took an alternative route in order to better himself in basketball. So I just challenge you that if you're walking down Pear Street and you see something happening, and you know it's trouble, well, go another route. Take another route out of it, okay? If you know your friends aren't doing something that's positive, take another route. That's the positive change we're trying to make into your life, and that we're just trying to help you out with those decisions. But for me, and for the judge, sports has always been, along with my academics, because I'm studying for my master's degree and hope to go to law school. Sports, for me, has been something that's been positive in my life. It makes me wake up every morning. It's something that I want to do. I love coming teaching you guys tennis. The kid that just left, I've been teaching him for 1.5 years. His dad pays me to do that. I have like 30 clients that I teach. And then I have kids come from Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and New Jersey to come and play in my tennis tournaments. This is something that so if you get something that you really like to do and you have passion for it, I guarantee you'll succeed at it. And people will gravitate towards you once you do that. And you'll see positive results.
One of the things Mike said was about being around so-called friends, people in the neighborhood, and so forth. If you allow them to get you involved in things, and that means they're making your mind up. They are making your mind up for you instead of making up your own mind. They're running your life. They're making decisions for you. You need to be making your own decisions. Stand up for yourself and decide what you want to do. There are people in prison right now who all they did was stand lookout. when someone else was going in to rob somebody, and then somebody ended up getting killed, and that's a mandatory life sentence. So because they were asked to stand lookout with their cell phone and say the police were coming, this could give us a call, they're in the conspiracy. It's a felony murder, which is a mandatory life sentence. Some of these individuals weren't even 18 years old at this time. It's mandatory life sentence. That's it. Your life's over. You're in jail. No freedom. You can't choose what you eat. You can't choose what time you get up. You can't choose if you want to go outside or stay inside. You can't go out on a date. You can't do any of those things. For what?
Is that Pennsylvania or?
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. Yeah, felony murder, a death in the commission of a felony.